Good morning, Coffee and Sports. And yesterday, finally, the Big Country Time Sports 2026 special edition arrived. It's only referred to as a special edition because I'm using my wife's artwork from my original 1997 Flash football game. So she sketched out a Lenny Moore for me back in the day, and she did a series of football pictures that went on the charts and on the front of the book and in the book. I can't remember which receiver this was, but she sketched a series and I wanted it to have an old school look for Flash football. I wanted a typeset on the cards. I wanted an old school look, and I wanted it to be hand drawn, kind of, right? And there it is. So I decided, well, I have all those original artworks scanned, and why not put them on my official final edition of Big Country Time Sports, the 2026 edition. And there you have it. So, nothing inside the book is different from the other 2026 edition. And also, this morning, I thought, so there have been those who've asked why yet this another edition. I've already discussed one. I wanted to make it as affordable as possible, so I needed to get the page count down. I wanted it to make it as useful as possible, but still be a book. Therefore, it needed to be bigger, and I wanted it to have better visibility for us older guys as we age. And it was time to finally go through and clean up the punctuation and the grammar, and also really tighten up a couple of the nagging things on the charts that I wanted fixed. And so that's why the 2026 edition. Okay. But today, and the other big one was, I've had many people ask me what's my favorite version of my games and which ones would be the official ones, and why, so the intent of the games, this is closer to the original intent of what I wanted Big Country Time Sports to be, what I wanted people to get, own, and play. So I had a friend write the other day and say, which version of is kind of official? I said, it's definitely this one, because it's also, I've called the game to what I wanted the experience to be. Boxing, for instance, was never meant to be a career boxing game or a replay boxing game. It was meant to be a boxing simulator, but you make a boxer, and you try him against whatever weight class. So kind of the idea of the original Boxing Time in the first Big Country book was, in a way, you're not making your boxer. You're a manager who discovers a kid out of the amateur ranks, and it's to see if that kid can win, a light, middle, or heavyweight championship. And there's 10 boxers he has to work his way through. I don't say that. I never say that explicitly, because I never want to define what I want people to do with this. I want to be able to make as many boxers as they want. I want people to... So then I also ultimately say, well, let's expand that, because as I played it, I realized I want more boxers. So I came up with ways to quickly create boxers and things like that. So the idea of this originally was a boxing sim, but you make a boxer out of the gate and you try to win a championship. So this morning, with that in mind, we're going to do this rules as written. What's not in the rule book is how to name them. I'm going to use Dell's 1940s naming charts, because this is going to be 1948 when I discovered this kid. So little Boy Larconi invites me over to Paradise City to his gym, Rumblefists, and we're going to go to Rumblefist Gym in Larconi. He's an underworld thug, but every once in a while he'll reach out and tell me about a new kid, up and comer. Now, what concerns me about that is this kid might be already have been tampered with by the mob. But he tells me, no, man, this kid comes from Springfield, and he's just too good to be messing with, but he wants me to come down and take a look at him. So first, let's find out what this kid's name is. 62. This kid's name is Howard. Okay, I already like that, Howard. His last name, 30. A nice number. Wiggin. Howard Wiggin. And I immediately raise an eyebrow when I'm on the blower with Larconi. And I go, well, that's not the kind of name that's going to draw big crowds. He says, wait till you see this kid. I say, okay, let's see if Larconi knows anything. It's 1948. All right, so that part is not rules as written. From here on out, we roll the dice and find out what he is. So Howard Wiggin, we don't even know what his wig is. He was born to be for a slugger. So he is a slugger. So I'll put here slugger. Right, and I need to keep his rating slug D, because these might change over the course of creation. TKO 5. So he's got a decent TKO, not great, but none of them should start high. But he's at least a slugger. So when he tells me this kid's got something, I'm assuming it's power when he tells me on the horn. So I hang it up, climb into my 1946 Ford, and chug on over to Paradise City to meet this kid. All right, natural weight class and endurance for this kid is 4. He's a middleweight. Ooh, 11 endurance. Now I love that. Middleweight is the weight I prefer to watch. It's also where I think we get the best boxing matchups in history, because middleweights have power and size and good skills. You'll see sluggers, you'll see boxers, you'll see guys that are, it's just a very dynamic weight class, I think. Sometimes the heavyweights can be just big lumbering oxes that aren't any fun at all, out of shape. And his endurance, folks, is 11. That's about as good as I could ever want. All right, his amateur length. Now this is huge, because this is going to determine how much experience he got before he was in this ring right now, sparring, trying to get a contract from a manager. And we want to roll high. We'd love to roll 4, 5, or 6. He had a short stint. He only gets 2 ACC rolls, so he's going to get 2 ACC rolls. And so when I get there, I'm looking this kid over, and I'm thinking, dude, he looks a little raw. He said, well, but this kid's power is so good, he decided to go pro. His mama's sick. So when I hear 1948, fedora, standing there in my sports coat, watching this kid, and I'm watching his edges, I'm like, yeah, he looks a little raw to me. And he just reminds me, look, his mama's sick, and he's got to get going, right? It's like, okay, here we go. So we're going to roll his first amateur career effect. Let's hope it's a good one. 43. 4 and 3 is Boxer B. Holy cow. So we have a Boxer B. So he's a slugger and a boxer, but he starts to show some bobbing and weaving while I'm watching. I'm like, wait a minute. You told me this kid was just a slugger. He's like, well, he's got a good punch. Now I'm seeing this kid's got some other stuff. His last roll really needs to be good. What I'd love is defense. I want a high defense, because that gives him a chance. 34, so I rolled a 43 and a 34. Slugger B. Well, so he convinces me so that's BB. So he convinces me while I'm there. B, right? And now we got to do this is where things, unfortunately, we have to go by the rules. And whatever he doesn't get has to go with the base scores. So that means his defense, F, his power, F, his desire, F, his chin, F, but his TKO is not bad, 5. He won't probably get to TKO 5. And his endurance, which is brilliant, is 11. So what we're looking at, as I watch this kid work, and I tell Larconi, yeah, okay, yeah, all right, well, yeah, sure, I'll give the kid a few bouts. And as I turn to walk out, light up a cigarette, and head out the front door of Rumblefists Gym. That's F-I-S-T, Rumblefists Gym. I say, what he's recognizing in this kid Wiggin is he's a great athlete. Kid can move, can dance, can put together a combination. He's obviously showed some power when he was in his amateur ranks. And TKO is tough to tell based on amateur career, but endurance, I mean, this kid's in shape. He's young, he's fit, and he's an athlete. Unfortunately, he has zero boxing education, zero boxing skills. He's never been coached, right? He's never, Daddy wasn't a boxer, Uncle Bill wasn't a boxer. This kid is raw. Now, in the original game, this was your guy, and you're supposed to try to win the championship with him. And then if you don't get anywhere, you throw him out, you get a new guy. There was no way to improve him. There was no career mode, right? Or you keep him and you make him part of your middleweights, right? And so that's what happens to Howard Wiggin. But I will go ahead, as rules is written here, we're going to play this game as it was designed, right? And here's the other luxury. No matter how bad your boxer, he always gets the red corner. That gives you, your boxer, a slight edge, because this is difficult. I mean, you're going to have a hell of a time when you can't improve your boxer of winning a championship with RaW unless you roll up an outstanding amateur career, which will show how solid he was coming out of the amateur ranks. This kid is talented. He's got everything he needs in his footwork, his movement, his body movement, etc. He's got great legs, great endurance. Unfortunately, he has zero boxing. He's just not been taught a damn thing, right? All right, so what we're going to do is set up his first fight. And he's a middleweight, so again, the rules as written, you only get to fight in your weight class. There were a lot of adjustments that went down with the second and third versions, in which I tried to expand, because the boxing game, as I play tested it and finished it, it was so much fun. I realized I'm going to want to do more with it, and I know that people, once they play it, will want to do more with it. So that led to me adding a way to create more boxers. It added career modes, how to adjust boxers. And all of my games are meant to be tweaked. They're meant for you to experience it and go, man, I really love this hockey game, but it would be better if. And then to make that hockey game better if, you go ahead and make that change to the hockey game, and you're enjoying the hockey game that much more, right? So I never create games with the intention that you're not going to change them. I mean, that's crazy. I've never played a game long before I didn't make changes to it, because I enjoy it enough to change it. So I assume that most of people who play my games are smart enough, clever enough, and interesting enough that they're going to want to modify it. So you give them, I want to give a sound base of what it's meant to be and do, and then hopefully people say, dude, I can make more boxers using his simple boxer creation charts, right? Of course you can. There's no rule saying you can't do that. All right, middleweight, here we go. It's going to be my guy Wiggin versus, in the top middleweight, 10th ranked guy, Anderson. Now, obviously, in real life, you would give this kid some bouts, you'd work him up, and he'd have to make the opportunity, right? But remember, this is post-World War II, big country. The whole attitude was that many of these guys traveled around in the circuits on buses, and they would go to these small towns, like Springfield, which is where this kid's from, which, by the way, we put Springfield. And he would be in the lineup for the middleweight that gets off that bus as fodder. So Howard Wiggins' first professional fight will be, he'll be the hometown kid at Springfield when the bus arrives for some of these guys to get some fights under their belt, or vice versa. He would be on the bus traveling, and he would have to face whatever middleweights in that locker room, and it happens to be the 10th guy. So Anderson. But because we're red corner, we're going to assume this is in Springfield. And Anderson is trying to make a quick buck, because he's going to be fighting in a month, maybe in 3 weeks he'll be fighting a top-ranked fighter. And so he just wants to keep his skills up, and he wants to test the new kid, right? So Anderson comes in here. Okay, and we already know that we're a boxer. Anderson is a slugger, C. So he's going to go with slugger. We're already a better boxer slugger. Okay, so let's take a look. But Anderson's defense is a B, so we're going to be good luck for us. So we're an F on all of these other skills, but our boxer and slugger grades are fantastic. All right, so we're a B against his defensive C. So you're B versus C. So we could be a B against him. Oh, he's a slugger, excuse me. B versus C, we can be an A. We are an A against him if we go boxer. If we go slugger versus slugger, we're going to be an A. So we're going to go boxer, and we're going to be an A today, right? Despite his defense being, oh, his defense is a B. Sorry, misread that. So B versus B is B, or slugger versus slugger, B versus B is C. No, we're going to go B. But still, we're going to be a B. He's going to be an A for sure, because we're an F defense. And again, he's a slugger versus us as boxer. He's a C slugger, we're an F. Oh, he's a B, so he's not an A either. Now our TKO is a 5. His TKO is a Andrews. His TKO is a 3. Hallelujah. This is we might find a way to beat this guy. But man, and this is a 10-round bout. Alright, so there's a chance for us to win this fight, folks. However, and we're both on the B chart, so it is very, very good fight. Right? As long as he doesn't roll a KD, because our chin, Desire's an F, our chin's an F. Morning, Bird. Alright, here we go. We're going to do red. This will be special. So red and blue. Here we go. Remember, red's red first. That's an advantage. Oh, we're going to get an event right out of the gate. So now I need this event on B to be a 6. 2. No, we're going to score a point. So in the first minute, we do manage to watch this kid score a point. 5 for him. On B, he's going to score 2. So Anderson outworks us in the first minute. Here we go. Harold Wiggin. We're going to roll a 5 and a 5. It's going to be 2 and 2. So we're losing this round by 1 point right now. And the third minute of the round, oh, dang it, that's what I don't want to see. We scored nothing. But he could end this right here. He wants to roll a 6 for a knockdown. No, he's forward. He's going to score another 2. That's a TKO point against us. And that's not good because we only have 5 to give. So 3 points to 6 points. He scored a TKO on 6+ points. And our simple one-judge rule is that whoever wins the fight, because again, this will be circuit. So there's only going to be one, maybe 3 or 4 judges in the house. They all have certain bouts because they're going to be fighting all night. So there'll be lightweights, welterweights. So this judge, whoever's judging the middleweight fights, is going to score this 10-9. Very simple. There is no judge 2 for these circuit fights. So his debut circuit fight, he's down 1 round already, and he has a TKO point against him. All right, we need to do better. Here we go. I'm cheering on Wiggin. I want this kid to do well in his debut. No, he's in trouble. He's going to score nothing in the first minute of the round 2, as he's probably a little overwhelmed. And again, this is why you want experience coming out of the amateur ranks. 6. If this is a knockdown, we're in trouble. No, 3, but he will score 1 point. All right, it's going to be 4. We're going to score 2 points. He's going to score nothing, so we're winning this round in round 3. Come on, Wiggin. Howard Wiggin, baby. Oh, we're going to fail to score. He's going to score 1. But we're still going to tie the round 2-2, which is a 10-10 round. So Wiggin hangs in there and manages to get a tie round. Round 3. 3-5. We're going to score 1. He's going to score 2. So he's just fighting better today. Come on, Wiggin. 3. We're going to score 1. He's not going to score. So it's tied again. Round 3. Or minute 3. It's going to be 3-4. We're going to get 1. He's going to get 2. Yep. And he's going to win the round. Dang. 4-3. So he's going to win that round 10-9. So we are definitely in trouble here. Round 4. All right, Wiggin. We're finding out what this kid's made of. He needs a big punch. We need him to unleash that slugger power that caught Larconi's eye in the gym. 0-0. They both come out sizing each other up. First minute of round 4. Wow, 5-5. They both unleash the fist, stand toe-to-toe in the middle of the ring. It's 2-2. Third minute. Come on, we're gonna win a round. Nope, we're gonna fail to score, and he's gonna rack up 4 again. And we're gonna lose again, 4-2. And now we're in trouble. Round 5 upcoming. By the way, we will not fatigue. Anderson fatigues. This is important. Round 8. So Anderson will fatigue after round 8. All right, Wiggin, come on, baby. It's 3-1, so we're going to score 1. He's going to fail to score. So we start out with a lead in round 5. All right, we're going to score 2. He's going to score 1. We're in the lead. We might win this round. Come on, Wigan. He's getting his feet under him. He's starting to get confident. We're going to win that round. 4, 2, 1. So he dances. He shows light. He shows signs of those boxing skills that I saw in the introductory sparring match. Round 6, baby. Oh, wow, we may get wasted here. An event, this could be bad if it's a knockdown. Yep, it's a knockdown. So that means we look at his power. Now, Anderson's power, dang. Anderson's power is C. The problem is our desire is an F. C, F, 4+. Okay, so first of all, TKO point for knockdown. We put KD question mark in that first minute. So 0 to KD, another TKO point against us. If he rolls a 4, 5, or 6, the fight is over as we are not out. If he rolls a 4, 5, or 6, we are actually knocked down. So he's trying to earn a knockdown. No matter what, the KD counts because it's a powerful enough punch and enough damage was done that their KD is scored. I mean, a TKO is scored even if the KD is not. And I do explain that note. So part of the final revision of the 2026 edition was on page 33. I give the note of what KD and KO mean in my game, because you're thinking, oh, KD scores you a TKO. No, just the KD chance scores a TKO, because it means that he's been clobbered and he's backpedaling, or he's dizzy, or he's wobbled, something. He just has to go down. So 4, 5, or 6, my kid Wigan will go to the canvas. Yep, down he goes. So now we got a KO, and we got to look at my kid's chin. F. So I have to roll a 6 for my kid to get up. If not, this fight is over. No, it's over. It's a KO win for Anderson, and Wiggins is going to lose. So Anderson wins by straight knockout in the first minute of round 6. And so my kid Wigan is 0-1-0 in his debut. And again, with those F grades, number one, his F grade for defense means almost every fighter he fights is going to go 1 or 2 grades. Second, anytime a KD comes, that F defense is going to make it a much higher percentage that he's going to go to the canvas. And third, his chin, no matter what the opponent's power, his chin, this kid is a glass jaw. He doesn't like getting up. Once he gets a taste of the sleep dust, the kid likes to dream. And that's a fact. TKO's okay. There were 2 against him in this 10-round bout. He was going to make it, most likely, to the end without a TKO. Anderson only had 3. So if this kid could have just put on a better show and scored more points, maybe landed a couple of KD chances, Anderson, this would have been over. Our guy would have been a winner by pummeling. Right? So you say, how can a guy like this win anything? Well, because he's going to face guys with a TKO of 3. Right? So even though Anderson's a top 10 ranked boxer, well, you can see one of his weaknesses is that 3 TKO. So Howard Wigan in his Springfield debut, middleweight 10, rules as written. He goes down, he doesn't get up, and he's sleeping with the fishes, right? So again, what I would do if he beat this guy, I would go on to Carter, and then I would go on to West and Benitez, etc., and try to win the championship. As it is, he lost, so I would either put him in the ranks of starters with other middleweights, or I will have him fight Anderson again in a rematch, see if he can at least beat Anderson. Right? That's my options. I mean, I could do anything I want. I remember, I don't never tell you how to play. That's my point. The intention of the game should come through following the rules. You should, as you read the rules and go through the book, that should have been your first experience right there. That's literal. Rules as written means is when somebody reads your rules and they follow the rules, they're going to have an experience whether you like it or not. And that's the intention of the game. That's the conceits of the game. Everything else we bring to it our ideas, our creative narrative, or whatever, all of that stuff is completely dependent on the user. So what I just did is going to be what the first guy who plays my game, who actually just reads it and follows the rules, is going to have that experience. And he's going to say, that, I don't know. I mean, how does this guy, well, I mean, I made a boxer, and this guy's never going to be competitive. Right, you're going to have to figure that out. Well, what do I do with him? Do I just keep fighting him? And I'm not going to tell you, how to think critically. I'm not going to tell you what to do with this guy. Well, you keep fighting him, or you put him in your files, and he becomes the first fighter for your next guy, or whatever, right? He becomes part of your universe, right? But I don't tell you that, right? I don't tell you how to play, but I tell you that that's going to be your first experience, what I just did, and I love it. But other people are going to say, what do I do with this guy? He's, well, I look on the chart and I say, well, let's see if he could beat, who could he beat on this chart? Who has bad defense? Oh, Carter is an F. So number 9 has F defense. I'm going to give Carter a shot. TKO 5, I'm going to go after Carter. And the kid may end up with an 0-10 record against all the boxers. Nobody says you can't. This kid couldn't get a chance to fight all these guys. Again, it's circuit boxing, right? They'll finally face the champion, in Central City or Middletown or Grand Bay, the big arenas. That's when Howard Wiggin, if he was facing the champion, with a chance to win the title. But a lot of these would be circuit. This kid would get on the bus, and he would travel to Carter's hometown, and this kid would climb off the bus, and Carter would say, who's my fight tonight, right? Carter's already amassed a record of 29, 4, and 7 or something, and he's top 9. He's ranked in the top. That doesn't mean, back in the day, champions could kind of decide who they wanted to fight, but a lot of guys had to keep fighting, right, to make money, to have careers, prize fighters, right? So again, if you keep this in context, that it's the big country, and we define that it's post-World War II pseudo-America, right? I mean, it's not meant to be exact. And it's 1948 in many, you can kind of put together what do these sports look like. Why are they the way they are, right? Anyway, there you have it, folks. And that is the version. This would be the official version. This would be the version I'd want everyone to experience. Of course, I have the optional 3 judges rules, 2 judges and 3 judges. For this circuit fight, again, there might be one judge that judges every fight that night at the small Springfield field house. There'd be one guy who's a professional judge who's there all night long. They're plying him with cigars and drinks, and he's judging all the fights for the night in the smoke-filled, backwoods Springfield field house, right? And Howard Wiggin, this was his chance to kind of show some people, build some fans. And right now, the kid went down into La La Land, never twitched. So a lot of his locals now are going, yeah, they're going to nickname him Howard, Wakey Wake Wiggin. Howard Wakey Wake Wiggins or something, right? He's going to get a nickname, right? So anyway, everybody have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.